In movies and money, shares of AMC are still up 27% for the year, but plunged 12% over the past few trading sessions as investors are punishing the theater chain for charging more for the good seats. Our film critic Erik Childress takes a seat on our show. Erik, before we get to that new seating chart, did Super Bowl 57 drive audiences away from theaters over the weekend?
Yes, Angie, the box office over the weekend left a lot of empty seats in theaters, with Warner Brothers ultimately winning the weekend with just $8.2 million for Magic Mike's Last Dance, which they released in just 1,500 venues. But it broke last week that AMC theaters are now looking to upcharge patrons for what they call premium seats with better sightlines. Now, we could do a whole show dedicated to my disdain already for assigned seating, but add into that this idea that AMC is going to treat the once first come, first served night out at the movies like a Broadway show or choosing an airline seat. It seems odd that just as we are reporting that audiences of varying ages are starting to return to theaters, when not watching the Super Bowl, of course, that AMC would decide to further alienate paying customers from the theatrical experience.
Two new films debut this weekend. Let's start with Liam Neeson as Private Eye, Philip Marlowe. What do you think? Will this one be a winner?
I think very unlikely, although that is not a direct shot at the quality of the film, but the fact that the studio releasing it, Open Road Films, just doesn't have the necessary muscle to get the word out on a film like this. Marlowe was directed and co-adapted by Neil Jordan, who did The Crying Game and Michael Collins, though it is not based on one of Raymond Chandler's original novels and rather a knockoff authorized in the last decade. And it feels a bit like a knockoff, with Neeson as an older Marlowe trying to solve a missing person case in Hollywood with the necessary dirty power players and femme fatales played by Diane Kruger and Neeson's Rob Roy co-star Jessica Lange. Aside from the performances, which are fine, the mystery just wasn't interesting enough to get fully invested in.
Now onto Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Here's a clip.
You're sending a signal down to the quantum realm. Turn it off. Now!
What's your review on this one? Does the new Marvel film measure up to the universe?
Well, Angie, it depends on how you view my half-full, half-empty thoughts on the film, and where I say it may be slightly better than any of the films we got last year to conclude Phase 4 of the Marvel Universe, but it is also easily the lesser of the three Ant-Man films. Now, Paul Rudd returns to Scott Lang and winds up with his teenage daughter and the Pym family down in the quantum realm, basically a super miniaturized version of Inner Earth, where a whole civilization exists that is harboring the next big Marvel villain in Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors. Now, he is by far the best part of this new chapter, but it takes nearly half the movie for him to make his big entrance. The film sets up a lot and leads to a big Avengers-like battle finale, but aside visually from a couple sequences, it does not live up to some of the ideas it establishes early, spinning its wheels and teasing Kang's big appearance. Majors is the real deal, and he energizes this film that many will see as a way too serious entry in a series that was mostly built around a lot of good humor and goofiness. Michael Douglas looks completely bored, Rudd is fine but not left to his best devices. Only Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer are operating at the level this film kind of mistakenly wants to be at, and I think it is left with a real identity crisis.
Thanks so much, Erik.
Thank you, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.